Close your eyes, close them, and imagine a world without art. A world drained of color. There is no music, no theater, no books, no art, nothing. Just pure silence. Stay there for a moment. Now open your eyes, look around, and take a breath. Because that world, thankfully, doesn't exist. We live in a world overfilling with messy, loud, and emotional art. The kind of art that sneaks into your life when you least expect it, and somehow makes everything feel little more alive. The kind of art that paints color into your grayest days. Art's a quiet force that keeps the world from fading into silence. There's a movie called Dead Poets Society that I'm sure you all know. In that movie, teachers tell his students, we don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are the members of the human race. And the human race is filled with passion. And medicine, law, engineering, these are just noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, love, romance, these are what we stay alive for. And I truly believe that art isn't something extra or optional. It's essential. Yes, we all aren't meant to become artists, but art is for everyone. Because it can be a voice, a cure, a weapon, or everything at once. It's scientifically proven that art helps us to process our emotions, reduce trauma, and think differently. And when we start thinking differently, we act differently, which is where the change begins. I must say I've been a very emotional person my whole life, and I didn't really know where to express all those emotions. Later in life, I got into acting. My first role was to play a dust brush. Yes, not a superhero, not a princess, but a dust brush. At first, it seemed ridiculous. A dust brush, really? But then I realized that is the point of art. It turns something strange into something meaningful. And also, art isn't meant to be understood by everybody, because it's how we say things we're too afraid to say directly. So, now, let's think about the word change. When we think about change, especially on a global scale, we imagine politics, wars, revolutions, protests. But have you ever thought about change sometimes starts with four boys from Liverpool and their love for music? Yes, as you may have already assumed, I'm talking about the Beatles. When the Beatles started making music, music followed the rules. It was something safe and predictable. But Beatles, they made something new, something that crossed borders, cultures, languages. With songs like All You Need Is Love, they spread ideas of love, peace, and unity. And the most beautiful part is that they didn't even know how much they would matter. They just did something they loved to. And so can you. Because change doesn't always start off big. It starts small, maybe with a single song or a roll of dust brush. Now let's look at the screen again. What do you see? How does it make you feel? At first glance, you see chaos. Children running, smoke behind them. But if you look closer, you spot terror. Raw, overwhelming terror that grips into your chest and refuses to let go. On the photo, you can actually see a famous photograph by Nick T. It's called Napalm Girl, captured during the Vietnam War in 1972. This photograph didn't just capture war. It made people feel it. And that is what art does it at its most powerful. It turns distant suffering into something very personal. I think in every childhood, there is something that changes us forever. Something that makes childhood feel even more magical than they already are. For me and for millions of other children, that thing was Harry Potter. I watched it at a really young age, and it made me believe that I could be as brave as Harry Potter, as loyal as Ron Weasley, as clever as Hermione Granger, or even as unique as Luna Lovegood. And that stayed with me forever, because art became a pair of glasses that helped me see the world in my way, the most beautiful and magical way possible. And those who couldn't were just muggles in my sight. Even though we're surrounded by thousands of examples how art changed the world, we still forget how important it is because it's everywhere, so constant that we take it for granted. But if it disappeared, the world would be just existence, which seems terrifying to me. So, if we really think about it, what is this earth without art? It's just